Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Build with Audie. Woo! Yeah, we're building stuff. All right. So last time I built this wonderful-looking library we have behind us. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Aqueduct. That's right. It took quite a long time to build this sucker, and I got to say, I pretty much went ham with the Aqueduct. It's a big fella. It took a long time. I did a lot of copying and pasting with World Edit. But it's still just a really massive object. Took a lot of work, so I hope you enjoy it. Go ahead and take a look. So to start this off, I wanted to just show you guys where I had planned to bring in this aqueduct from. So just kind of a pan across. I kind of made this spring by hand, put a nice little tree up there. But I felt like this hill was of sufficient height that would be able to kind of pretend like the water's flowing down. How an aqueduct works is the Romans would find a natural spring that had a high elevation, and you would gently slope this structure, the top of the structure that was sort of a trough shape. Sometimes it was covered all the way down to wherever you want to bring the water. So that was kind of the plan with that. I wanted to have it look like it could naturally flow down the pipe, even though it's not actually going to end up like that structurally in Minecraft. But anyways, that's where it's coming from. That's where the aqueduct is going to start, at that little spring up there on the hill. So now we'll just get right into the building here. I start off with some terraforming. There's kind of a brutal cliff face here that I wanted to shallow out a little bit so that we could actually kind of show the aqueduct interacting with this ground. So as soon as I got that how I wanted, I used the overlay feature a little bit with World Edit, stuck some grass on top, and then pretty soon here I'm going to go ahead and get started actually bringing out the top of the aqueduct. Now obviously this isn't how it would have been built back then, that you don't start building by the top and bring it out, but in Minecraft I felt like this would be the easiest way to kind of visualize it, for me anyways. So I kind of went top down. And then another technique that I used was I basically just stuck in a big blank wall, copied it over so it had some thickness to it, and then you'll see here in a minute I actually just cut the shapes out of this big wall rather than making the archways and things just completely from scratch. Alright, so here you go. Once I thought I had enough wall kind of pulled out and built, I started marking off where I wanted the archways to be. And this took a little while because I wasn't sure the exact size that they should be. So it was kind of dig a little bit, step back and take a look, dig a little bit, step back and take a look. Eventually got them the size I wanted to. Kind of a tip for this, if you, obviously I'm not really marking it out very well here, I just started digging. So that'd be my first tip, is actually marking out where you'd like the hole to be if you're building an aqueduct, or marking out where you want anything to be. That way you have a plan in advance and you can see what it looks like. Another tip is to use a different block to actually mark out where you're going to be digging or building, rather than using the same block. That way you can step back and take a look and see what it's actually going to look like. It's really hard to tell what things are going to look like if you just line out everything with whatever the final material will be. It makes it really hard to see. So once I had that first archway set up to the correct size and shape that I wanted it, I went ahead and copied it up so that it was evenly spaced. So there was sort of two layers of large archways here, and then I went and started copying it to the right. And over here obviously the hill is going to become a bit of a problem as we continue to make these arches. But one thing I noticed with this build especially is what really adds to the realism and the believability of the build is kind of how it interacts with the naturally occurring surface of the Minecraft world. So it's very important that you kind of make it look natural, like it's actually being built into the the topography. And that's one thing I feel like I didn't do very well, like actually within the city walls, rather than just completely flattening everything. I may go back in and actually add some topography to the area. So once I got the basic structure set up here, what I thought I wanted it to eventually look like, I tested with the replace function of World Edit. Went ahead and played around with some other materials. I finally ended up just going with good old stone brick for the outer facade, and then I inlaid it with regular stone so that, again, you can kind of cut into it and add to that depth to add some detail to it. And then I started here by sort of adding some of this decorative indentations onto one of these sections of columns, and then I'm going to end up going ahead and copying it over to all the other ones. And man, World Edit saves so much time if you can use this. If you have anything that's repetitive in Minecraft, which a lot of it is, just placing blocks, World Edit can save a lot of time. You just copy iterations over to other locations. Now, one thing I will say about the copying and pasting is when you do that, it's a lot of times you're creating a mirror image if you're going from the front to back of something rather than just translating it sideways. So a lot of times you copy and paste, it saves a lot of time, but you have to go back in and make sure, if you really want it to be symmetrical and you really want it to be correct, you have to go back in and make sure everything really lines up and that you didn't accidentally do something completely ridiculous and now there's a massive air void like I just did there by copying and pasting this thing into that side of that hill. But I will go back in, and World Edit has a solution for everything. You can make a wand that sticks in spheres of any material you want, so I go in and just kind of fill it in, and again you're going to see really, in my opinion anyways, how important it is to really make it look like the structure is naturally incorporated into the ground and the topography. So it doesn't look very natural or like flowing right now, but really that's what's happening most of this episode is sort of terraforming and making the aqueduct fit into what is naturally existing there. So it looks like they actually built it. So once I kind of got this ground area looking sufficiently better, I went ahead and copied this aqueduct pattern all the way over onto the village or the city or whatever over to the left, and then it was time to go ahead and fix up where that touched the ground too. It's funny, most of this episode really is, or most of the work I guess involved with building this is actually fixing the ground and how the earth reacts to the structure rather than the actual structure. Once I had sort of one pattern done that I knew I wanted, it was basically just copying that over and then fixing whatever I had ruined in the ground to make it look like an actual structure, like something that had actually been built. And once we got over to this area where the water features start to interact with the aqueduct on the ground, I got this idea to kind of make it look like natural occurring boulders were coming out of the ground, and those were really good anchor points for the base of the columns for the aqueduct. So I thought that was a really cool addition, and it really solved this problem for me of how that little center part of the aqueduct was like awkwardly low, aqueductly low to the water system there. That's definitely a real word now. Awkward duct. Yeah, add that one in the dictionary. It's a keeper. So random, stupid, made-up words aside, it was now time to bring the water source into the aqueduct. I basically just went to town with a bucket and dumped that all over the place. This top was only 1 block deep, so that made it really easy. And then I just carried it all the way down to the city, town, village, whatever. And then at the end here, this is just me playing around with some really cool shaders. I'm not going to be building with these on. They actually make it really laggy if I'm recording the building in third person. It makes it really hard to build with shaders on, but I thought it'd be really cool to toss some of these in there. The water looks amazing and the shadows are really cool. So hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you comment, leave me a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Actually, probably not. That's kind of creepy. I won't see you. I'm not following any of you. Don't worry. I don't know why I said that. I will make a video next time. It's not quite as catchy though. See, I'll see you next time. See, yeah, you get me, bro. You feeling me? Yeah. Anyway, subscribe and I'll build some more stuff.
Back